yes, it would be lovely to hear from Valeria and Santiago, maybe a general experience of what you found in Berlin at the school, etc. And then if anyone has any questions, we can happily answer them.
Exactly. I was just wondering, Santiago and Valeria, if you could maybe introduce yourself just very shortly so that the attendees know who you are, your background. And I think it would be also interesting to see why did you go for an MBA in general.
Sure thing. Well, if you don't mind, Valeria, I can start because I see you're still muted. Okay, so I'll start. So hi, everyone. I'm Santiago. If you can't hear me, please let me know. I assume that you can. I'm from Mexico City, in the south of Mexico City. I don't know if any of you are, but if so, desde Tlalpan, muchos saludos. So at the end of I'm a chemical engineer I did my degree in chemical engineering. And after that, I started a business. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we had to close down. Then I was a little bit lost. Naturally, I switched around industries, pharma, tech, and I thought I needed a change in my career. And that was probably one of the main reasons that I decided to go on the MBA journey. Also, it is a great opportunity to start over in a new place. I love Berlin. I was here 3 times before moving in here, and the city just took my heart away. And of course, after I met Agnes, and the rest of the team at ESMT. Actually, Agnes was the one that made the interview to me back in the day. After I met everyone, I was just like convinced that this was the best option for me. After reviewing the rest of my options, and yeah, it's been a wonderful ride. A little bit tiring though. I must warn you. It is intense, but it's super worth it. Berlin is an amazing city. Germany is an amazing country. Yeah, that would be my short introduction. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them on my way.
Thank you, Santiago. Now I will start. My name is Valeria. I'm also from Mexico City. Actually, Santiago and I were neighbors, and we never met before coming to Germany, which was very, very funny. I worked for about 6 years before coming to Berlin. I work in finance, like in controlling. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. I worked mainly in like big corporations. I worked in Bayersdorf, which is the group that makes Nivea, Eucerin, Curitas, Labello. And then I switched to Johnson & Johnson for medical devices. But after working in finance for 5 years, I realized I didn't want to do finance for the rest of my life. So I looked on like what could I do as a career switch, and an MBA was the best option for me to see, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So for me, the MBA was a great way to expand my options. Why did I choose ESMT? I don't know. I just really like the program itself. I don't know, like from everything that Agnes just presented, it's a very dynamic program. It is very full, especially at the beginning, but after the first 4 months, then you're free to literally do whatever you want to do with it. If you're an entrepreneur and really want to get into like deep entrepreneurial stuff, you can do it. If you're very analytical and want to do like machine learning and whatnot, you can do it. So it's really up to you. No one also is not gonna like hold your hand and like guide you through the entire process. Like after the last 4 months, it's literally up to you on what you want to do out of the program and out of your career. And in Berlin, I didn't know anything about Berlin, but the first 3 months in the winter, I didn't like it. But then the last 3 months with the summer experience,
like, honestly, nobody can blame you. Nobody can blame you. Winter in Berlin is tough. So I'm always saying that we need to move the starting date of the MBA, because like having new arrivals in January in Berlin, it's probably not the best marketing for the city. But yeah, otherwise.
I must say that actually disagree, Agnes. Like, I think that due to the nature of the program being so
It's
intense
better.
at the beginning, it's better because you're very focused on that and you don't feel the actual, yeah, like, and of course, you also get to know a city in the winter that it is tough on the climate and stuff, but it's also pretty beautiful. At least that's what my impression was. I wouldn't change that, Agnes, truly. I think it's nice
Santiago
because also
is biased, but
I'm biased because, yeah, and the summer is so nice here. Like, it's just such an amazing city, yeah. And the school is located in a super nice location as well. Like, you're in the center of town. It's an amazingly well-connected city. I don't know if any of you have ever had the opportunity to come here. If you had, you know what I'm speaking of. Like, it's just full of life, and I think that ESMT actually fosters and foments that with how the program is structured, with the openness of the faculty, with the openness of all of our colleagues as well. So it's like, yeah, like meant to be, one would say.
Okay.
and another
Yeah.
very important point, depending on what you're looking for, it's a very small cohort. So we're talking about, like, at least in our cohort, we are like 37 people. So it's very, like, we're like a little family. Like most other MBAs, it's 200 people, 300 people. So it's a very different, like, interaction with each other, like that you will have in any other MBA, and it's something that you definitely have to take into account.
Exactly, that's a very good point. I mean, to all of our MSc, Master, and MBA cohorts, we're counting with like 50, in average, with 50 participants and students. So this is a fantastic opportunity. Learning doesn't only take place in the classroom, but also, you know, between your peers. And if this is a really international cohort, it's just fantastic to learn things about, you know, from a Chilean economist till I don't know, a Danish lawyer. So it's a very mixed crowd in terms of the industry that they're coming from, the professional experience that they have, the studies, the field of their studies. So it's a really enriching experience. I see already a few questions here in the chat. Yes, so English, German, it's always a recurring questions, whether you would need German to study here at ESMT or later to work in Germany. So our official language is English at ESMT. Berlin is also a very international city, so you would actually get by with the English only. But if you're planning to stay here on the long run, obviously German is very much a must. But it also depends. It's interesting because it depends on the industry that you're looking for. Maybe if you will be working for an international startup after graduation, then you might not need German at all because everybody's international. The common language is English, right? But if you are going to work for Germany-focused SME, middle of Germany, or Germany-focused consulting firm, then this is a different level of communication and they would require German. But in order to come to ESMT, you don't need German. I think both of you participated in the German language course during the summer option. Could you maybe talk a bit about how we support German learning at the school?
Sure. So I think Valeria and I had a little bit of background in German before. So before, like, I decided to move to Berlin probably in 2021, no, 2020, and then it materialized in 2022, and I used this time to do certain German courses. So I had the bare minimum, and Valeria lived in Germany as well. I don't remember where, but in Germany. Anyways, so we had this like already like a standard, like a very basic level, and then we first got yeah, we both went to In Linguas Sprachschule. Sorry, I normally speak better German. That was a big. Anyways, yeah, it was a full summer. It was 6 weeks, if I don't remember incorrectly. Going to German course 3 hours a day, every day. It was a super immersive experience. really focused. We were in B1, I think it was at that time, or B2. We were in B2, so we were focused on grammar, but there were also groups for A1 and A2, and I thought it was an amazing experience, to an amazing option if you actually want to stay in Berlin after that, which is my plan, and I think Valeria's as well. So yeah, it's like, I would super recommend it when you have the option to decide whether the social impact project or the internship. I recommend it to every single one of my classmates to do German. Not all of them did, but the ones that we did, we ended up very, very happy with it. Yeah.
Valeria, would you like to add anything to that, or Santiago?
No, for me, at the end, it comes down to what you want to do with your career. So because I've seen people who have been living here for 10 years and don't speak any German, and they can still live. So it's not that it's a must, but of course, if you want to merge more into the German culture, and like, even like if you find a job that doesn't require German, but then when you go out to have lunch, they're gonna speak German within them. So it's just, you can do it without, but it's just a better way to really merge in case you want to stay here in the long term. So it's,
yeah, it applies to every
literally up to
culture,
you.
probably. It's
And-
not just Germany.
And whether to take the summer intensive course or not, it depends on your career. Maybe you already have like your dream company and you know that you want to do the internship so that you have more chances of getting hired there post the MBA. Of course, go into the internship. But for example, for me, I didn't know still what I wanted to do with my career. So doing an internship just in a random company for the sake of doing an internship was not a goal for me. So I thought German was better, would help me more to position myself in the future in the German job market. But it's
Thank you very much.
individual.
I
It's
see
a
a
good mental
few-
exercise, no? The learning German.
It's a big topic. It's a recurring topic. It's always
It is
there, present at every webinar for sure. Yeah.
It is a struggle. It is a tough language, but I really like it. I think it's a beautiful language.
I see a few questions around moving from Mexico to Germany. Somebody's asking, can I move to Germany to study with my family? So maybe if you could talk a bit about how the process went in terms of, like visa. We do have a student services at ESMT. I wonder how they could support you. I know that we have a couple, I'm not sure about families in the program. I know we have a couple from Peru as well. So many times actually we have students who are moving to Germany with the whole family. The kids need to go to the kindergarten. So setting up a new life basically in Germany. But first, talking about the visa issues, do you have any good advices for our audience?
Yeah, I had the fortune
Santiago
of
is
having
not
yeah.
a
I
good
had the fortune
example
to
because
having
he has
a Spanish passport, so I didn't have to go
This dual
through
citizen.
any.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe
But
it's
for me, it went actually very smoothly. Like as long as you apply with, like I would, if you're applying now to enter in January, I think it would be a struggle because for me it took, I don't know, like 6 or 7 weeks for me to get the visa. So like as long as you do everything like within a reasonable time frame, I think I didn't have any problems with the application or acceptance or anything. But time frame, it's a big topic, especially because the embassy in Mexico, like the German embassy, is very picky. If you can move with your family, I mean, I don't know, but I have friends who did the MBA and moved with their family, so it's totally possible. I don't know the specifics, but I know it's possible.
yeah,
Right.
I have a friend who just arrived from Mexico, and I think that what the embassy tells you is a time frame of 4 to 8 months, weeks, sorry. So I think time wouldn't be a problem. Like he got his on exactly the last day of the 8 weeks. So yeah, I think it works in general, at least based on his experience. And talking about student services, they're always like super responsive to whatever question you may have. Like I struggled with, not struggled, but I had a lot of doubts with the Anmeldung and the actual moving in here, and they were super supportive and super like answering like really precise things. I think there's a brochure as well that tells you all the processes that you need to go through when you move in here, which is really helpful. And I'm sure that it would be the same for the visa, even though I didn't do the process. Yeah.
So once you enroll, then you will receive the student handbook. It's a really important document for newcomers to Germany. I also see questions around the exam, the entry exam. What was your GMAT score? Did you hire a coach for the application? I don't remember which entry test you did, but maybe if you have some advice around that.
Yeah. I did the GMAT. I did it 4 times, I must say. Because I just wasn't getting a good grade, but then I got 680 was my last grade. I think that was the one with which I applied. And did I hire a coach? I think I went to a crash course like with some people, and it's just a matter of practice. It's just a matter of practice and not getting nervous. I think that what made me go bust on the 2 or 3 times that I did before my final one, it was the nervousness. It's not a difficult exam, it's just tedious, and if you're nervous, it's just like, but if you're not nervous, you'll crack it. It's not impossible, nor, yeah.
But you're asking about like a coach specifically for the application process, which I know it's very common for other MBAs, which are very competitive. I didn't do it. I don't know anyone in the cohorts who did it, or maybe 1 or 2 people, but I don't think it's necessary. As long as you meet the requirements that Agnes told you about, I don't think a coach is necessary. Like I think it's not a good investment, but it depends on how many schools are you applying, of course, and what type of schools are you applying to. But like, I mean, I wouldn't do it for ESMT, but it's personal.
There's lots of offer online as well, tons of coaches, but there are also lots of official resources from GMAT itself. So you will find the resources that you will need to prep. And yeah, you can also do it several times. So if you're not happy with the first result, maybe you can practice a bit more and go for another one. So that is your choice, what you would like to go for. As I mentioned, if you're applying for several business schools, I really recommend you GMAT or GRE, because they are accepted basically by all of the other very good business schools, but we do have our own exam as well, and that might be an option for you as well. So feel free to reach out to admissions and they will give you some resources. Where can I find more information on the types of masters you have? So yes, I didn't talk about the full MBA portfolio, but next to the full-time MBA, we also have a part-time program, an online program. It's called Global Online MBA, and an executive MBA for those who already have 7 years of experience, including free managerial work experience, years of experience. And we also have MSc and master programs that we run at ESMT: Master in Global Management, Master in Innovation Entrepreneurship, and Master in Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. So it's quite wide portfolio. I believe for Mexican prospects, it might be also interesting to look into the Global Online MBA. This is 100% fully online program, so it is definitely manageable to complete it even from Mexico. Sophia, you have questions for us, or we're waiting for other questions in the chat?
We're waiting for other questions. I really don't have any questions for you. Just I want to encourage anyone who's here, you can also open your mics and just speak up. It's a great opportunity to have 2 Mexican students speaking to us. It rarely happens. We usually just have the recruiters, so don't be shy.
I always say that our students are the best sources, so, you know, I can, exactly. Yeah, I can talk about for hours about the school and the program, but it's the best is always to talk to students. So yeah, so once we're talking about this, you can actually reach out to students, and not just to Valeria and Santiago, but also others. We have a pool of student ambassadors. So if you want to talk with somebody and have a chat, just feel free to reach out. We also have lots of webinars run by us, by ESMT. So those are also good opportunities to look into how our professors are giving their presentations. We also have open houses on the campus. So if you happen to be maybe in Europe, maybe in Berlin, then you can actually come here to our campus in person. And then you can also sit in for a lecture. You can talk to current students as well. You can talk to admissions. There's a campus tour in this historic facility. So it's a fun event. So I encourage you to use the opportunity if you're around.
Yeah, feel free to ask whatever you need. And also I've shared Valeria and I have shared our LinkedIn if you want to connect and whatever you need. It's always more than welcome.
Thank you. Is there any constraint due to age? There's a new question in the chat. We don't have any constraints. What I can tell you is that the current class, the average age is around 30, and they have an average 6 years of work experience, post-graduation, post-degree professional experience. And yeah, so this is so that you can understand it a little better, our target group, but there's no specific age constraint. If you have an extensive experience, then we would obviously recommend you to rather go for an executive MBA.
Like the age range in our cohort goes from like 27 to 36, I think. But most of us are like around 30, but so that you see the range.
Correct. Yes, thank you. In terms of visa, you would need a student visa. And once you are enrolled, the student services can help you with the bureaucracy, which is a very painful point in Germany. But once you've done it, you're very proud of yourself. So that's the good part about it. And many of us went through these steps, so you will not be alone for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit tedious, but it always works out. That's a thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
What we haven't talked about are the tracks that you picked. Maybe that could be interesting for our participants. I don't remember which ones you picked.
Yeah, we both picked the entrepreneurial and innovation one. I had a business once, so I wanted to keep on the idea open of starting a new business in the future. So that's why I chose that one. It had an extra course on finance, which I like. So that was also a big, that's what pivoted my decision towards that. And it was great, actually. I really liked it. The class that I liked the most was not the finance one. So it was another one called creating and capturing value new products, if I don't remember incorrectly. And it was just amazing. That Stefan Wagner is an amazing professor. And yeah, really interesting. I don't know, Vale, you have something to say about the track?
Yeah, I chose also the same track. For me, it was completely the other way around. I had always worked in like big corporations, so I wasn't familiar with like the startup scene and what is actually needed to be in a startup and to work or even just be an entrepreneur. So I wanted to learn that side, and it was very enlightening. I really liked it. It's more or less the same, but you have to have different soft skills. I think that the soft skills that you have to have as an entrepreneur are completely different. The needs are completely different. But I really liked it.
Thank you very much. We still have some time. If you have some questions, just put them in the chat or just unmute yourself. Yeah, there are also other possibilities that are happening on the school, organized by our corporate communications team. There are lots of master classes, for example, that students can join. And there are other different kind of events that are happening on a regular basis on campus. So you can certainly max out the time that you spend here on campus. This is, you know, and you also spend so much time with your peers. It's a very enriching experience. And I talk a lot with alumni as well, you know, who might have left ESMT 5 or 10 years ago. And it's always so nice to hear that so many of them are still in touch till today. And they're part of each other's lives. So it's a really enriching experience, and you're really making friends for life. So yeah, I'm a bit biased. I feel like a Full-time MBA has always been my favorite program. So I like to talk about it, to be honest. Any other questions in the chat, maybe? Yeah, otherwise, if you have anything, that we have admissions@esmt.org, the general admissions email. And as I said, you have the opportunity to talk with one of our colleagues. So we have one-to-one online chats as well, webinars, online events. So feel free to reach out. And as far as I know, this webinar is recorded, so it will be available later on in YouTube. If maybe I was too fast in the beginning, the presentation, you can always go back to the slides.
Yes, that is correct. This is going to be recorded and uploaded in the next couple of days. You can find it in our webpage, in the FUNED webpage.
Fantastic, thank you.
I think there aren't any more questions, so I just want to say thank you again for your time. Enjoy Berlin. I'm very jealous that you get to live in a city like that.
Come and visit us. We're here. You can come anytime.
I would love to soon. Thank you so much for your time, for your support always with Mexican students, and I hope we see many of you applying for next year's intake.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, Valeria and Santiago, for being here and sharing your experience.
No, thank you.
No problem.
And
glad to be. Feel free to reach out, everyone.
yeah. Please do reach out, connect, and whatever question may arise on the academic, on the non-academic, feel free to reach out, and I'll be more than open to answer it. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Gracias. Bye.
Gracias. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Bye.